Hey guys, welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. Today we're super excited to be taking a closer look at this. It's the Indominus Rex Basher and Biter figure. This is part of the Series 3 of Hasbro's Jurassic World line. It seems that Hasbro have finally woken up to the fact that people are only buying their Indominus Rex figures because their T-Rex figure was so bad. So Hasbro have gone ahead and made a small version of their Indominus Rex figure. Okay, so let's start off by taking a closer look at the packaging. So starting off in the top left hand corner, we've got the Jurassic World logo there in blue and chrome. We've got this red and blue scaling going across the top of the box. We've got the T-Rex roaring proudly in the corner. Down here we just got a rundown of the features. You can see you move the tail to activate the chomping action described here. We've got the Hasbro logo, and along here we've got the Indominus Rex. For ages 4+, that's me! And on the back we have this awesome illustration of the Indominus Rex glowing white, and you can see here it says Chomping Action Indominus Rex. Indominus Rex, a ferocious fight for survival. Okay, so without further ado, let's get this guy out of the packaging. Okay, so here is the Indominus Rex Basher and Biter figure out of the packaging, and I have to say, much like all of the existing Indominus Rex figures, this is actually sculpted and painted really nicely. The tail looks a little bit stubby, much like the Tyrannosaurus Rex, but apart from that, this is a pretty accurate representation of what we see in Jurassic World. So in hand, this is a pretty nice looking figure. Unfortunately, we still have the visible screw holes, although they seem to have tried to have reduced the number. I think we had 9 on one of their existing figures, which is pretty atrocious. So I think this is kind of Hasbro's way of trying to say sorry by releasing a very popular figure in a smaller scale with less screw holes. Now what we're all here to see is the gimmick, and that can be activated by pulling down on the tail. So I'll do that now. You can see that as I pull it down, he brings his head up and he actually cocks his head to one side. We don't have a waggle side to side like we did on some of the other figures, and I think that's a shame because it was actually quite nice to puppeteer the dinosaur in more directions than just up and down. But still, it's nice that we've got this gimmick at all. When the mouth does open, unfortunately it reveals a really obvious piece of grey plastic, and it wouldn't have taken much just to paint that the same colour as the interior of the mouth. But with that said, I have to admit the paint applications on this guy are pretty good. It's a pretty decent looking figure, and I think they've tried to imitate the larger Indominus Rex figure, which had much better paint applications. It definitely feels like Hasbro is trying to redeem themselves here with this figure. So let's take a closer look at this guy. Starting off with the head, you can see we've got a really accurate representation of the Indominus Rex here. They've left on the horns, which were forgotten on the versus Gyrosphere set. Really nice airbrushing in the hollow of the nose there. Nice careful painting around the eye. You can see the actual eye itself has been decaled on, much like the larger Indominus Rex toy. So it's obvious that a lot of care has been taken with this toy, and the teeth are really nicely and accurately painted. The interior of the mouth has been sculpted and painted. As I said, with the mouth open, it does reveal this little bit of grey plastic. It's not sculpted fantastically. You can see it's just kind of scored across the roof of the mouth, but at least it's nicely painted in there. Then as we move down the neck, we've got all this lovely sculpted detail going on. And Hasbro put a lot of work into all of their Indominus Rexes, I can't deny that. Really nice airbrushing across the top of this dinosaur as well. It's like a matte airbrushing paint, whereas the rest of the dinosaur is this glossy colour, so that really does add some contrast to the way this thing reflects the light. Really nice sculpted detail on the shoulders. You can see clear musculature coming down here. We've got indication of feathers hanging off the elbow, and a really nice dark wash has been applied to the hands that bring out all that kind of bony handed detail. Really, really nice. As we move up to the wound here, it's been carefully painted, but it's almost been left a little bit short of the edge. It's still pretty cool looking. It's nice to have the wound. It's a shame we don't have a piece of flesh to put in there, but still nice to have nonetheless. Then we got the Jurassic World logo here on the leg. You can see clear musculature here, and this leg looks much better than the one we had on the Tyrannosaurus Rex. I will be doing a comparison with that figure in just a second, but you can see very bird-like looking feet, and no compromise on the sculpt with this one. You can see there's even the dew claw, and they've painted the dew claw as well. Really nice detail. The underside of the foot is still flat, unfortunately, but still a very nicely sculpted leg. Then as we move into the tail, a little bit stunted, a little bit short, but still cool nonetheless. A nice sculpted detail running along this. Again, we've got the screw holes visible, unfortunately, as we move on to the other side. Again, carefully painted toe claws. Nice scaly sculpted torso there. Again, shame about the screw holes. It's almost like McDonald's quality, unfortunately, but the rest of this figure certainly isn't. And again, really nicely detailed hands with a nice grey wash there to bring out the detail. And then we're back to that head sculpt. So in terms of articulation, you can waggle the head side to side because of the gimmick. You can also open the jaw and it will spring closed. The arms do rotate. You can rotate them this far backwards. Actually, you can push it a bit further. It's tight in that direction but looser in this direction. Also, you can move the legs backwards and forwards. Again, it's really tight moving it forwards and looser going backwards. It's actually quite loose there. Also on this leg, it's looser backwards, and yeah, it's about the same going forwards. With this one, it's tight going backwards and looser going forwards. So you do have sort of a full range of motion there on the arms and legs. But just how big is this guy? Let's whip out the tape measure. You're looking at about 8.5 inches long, which is about 21.5 centimeters. And then in terms of the height, you're looking at about 4 inches, which is about 10 centimeters. Okay, size comparison time. Let's bring in the Indominus Rex from the Versus Gyrosphere set. And one of the first things you may notice is the fact that this one has a more green coloration going across the back where they've airbrushed it. On this one, it's much more of a sort of a cool grey colour, and this is much more accurate to what we see in the film. But I still like this slight sort of army green going on here in this Indominus Rex. Also, you'll notice that this one has the horns above the eye, whereas the Versus Gyrosphere set was missing the horns on the Indominus Rex. I think still in terms of proportions you are getting a better Indominus Rex in the Versus Gyrosphere set, but the small details that make it more film accurate may make you want to get this smaller version. Next, let's bring in the atrocious Bashers and Biters Tyrannosaurus Rex. This one is vastly out of proportion and ugly looking. Look at the size of its head there, and I think that's what Hasbro is making up for here with this Indominus Rex. And look at all those visible screw holes. I mean, there's 5 going on there. That's just absolutely terrible, and it really does look like a McDonald's toy. Look at the sculpt of the legs on these two. I really hope that they re-release the T-Rex with these sculpted legs, because actually it would look miles better just with these legs alone. Next, here's the Indominus Rex next to the Bashers and Biters Allosaurus. This is currently one of my favorites from this whole line. Really nicely proportioned dinosaur, great sculpt, and a really nice colorful paint job. Good job Hasbro, and good job on this guy. I think these two look pretty good. Apart from the visible screw holes, these are pretty cool toys. And lastly, here's the Indominus Rex next to our good friend Off Color Alan, and he's currently recovering from his fight with Ian Malcolm in the Command Compound review. And at this scale, you can now reenact what Hoskins imagined for the Indominus Rex, raptor-sized I-Rexes. An awful idea, but hey, that's where the franchise is going. There we have it, guys. That was the Basher and Biter Indominus Rex from Hasbro. A real quality figure, and actually it's quite scarce in the shops right now. So if you see it on the shelves, definitely pick this one up. You won't regret it. And Hasbro, congratulations. You have redeemed yourself with this figure. You need to keep doing stuff like this and not the stuff that we saw in Series 1. Now I want you to re-release your Tyrannosaurus Rex. Please do a great version of that Tyrannosaurus Rex. Okay guys, so stay tuned. We got loads more Jurassic World toys from Series 2 and Series 3 on the way, so don't go anywhere. In the meantime, rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.